Hi, this is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. So now what I want to talk about today in this episode is really how to set effective goals. So I'm going to be giving you guidelines to help you set effective goals in this show today. So first thing is you want to state each goal as a positive statement. So you want to express your goals positively. So execute this technique well is a much better goal than don't make a stupid mistake, right? So you want to set it in a positive way. So become a New York Times bestselling author. You know, don't sell this many books, sell this many books. You want to put it in a positive statement. The second part is be precise. Set a very precise goal, putting in dates, times, and amounts so that you can measure the achievement. If you do this, you will know exactly when you've achieved the goal and can experience complete satisfaction from having achieved it. I do want to say one thing on that. Some people get very caught up on when they create a date. So for example, I want to weigh 115 pounds by December 31st, right? Some people will say, I want to lose 20 pounds. You're focused on what you don't want, losing, instead of focusing on what you do want. I want to weigh this amount, right? If you have resistance about writing in a completion date, like December 31st, as an example, then don't do it. This is not a cut by cut, we're not all the same person. Some people feel that when they put in a date, it actually helps them. It motivates them. It gets them to know that there is like a deadline. But other people, it puts too much pressure, and that pressure really creates more resistance. So you have to check within yourself to see if putting in a specific date actually works for you or against you. But definitely, if you're wanting to lose weight, don't say, I want to lose weight, right? I want to weigh this amount. You want to put it exact. So when you are stepping on that scale, or you want to measure your BMI or your body mass index or your body fat percentage, you know what the numbers are, so you know that you've actually attained that goal. I'm using weight loss as a example, but it could be in business. You want to have so much in sales. You want to go on this type of vacation, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is for you. But you want to have it so that you know exactly when you achieved it. So the next part is you want to set priorities. When you have several goals, give each one a priority. This helps you to avoid feeling overwhelmed by too many goals, and it helps you to really direct your attention to the most important ones. I want to say this about goals as well. I always recommend having 3 goals. And that becomes your focus, because what happens as far as an energetic space is that when we have too many goals and we're focused on too many things, our energy then splits. And then we don't have all the juice and all the energy and especially all the focus to move towards the goals that we want. So I would really recommend never have more than 3 goals. You can always write down other things you want to experience and other goals that you're going to have later at another time. But having these points of focus, and for you, it might be 1. For other people, it might be 3. Whatever it is for you, where you feel you've got enough juice and gusto and energy and focus for these particular goals, do that so you're not scattering your energy. The other thing I want to say about that is when you have these 3 goals that are written down, they're specific, all that, you want to make sure, and I'm going to talk about writing down goals in a minute, you want to make sure that anything that is not in that wheelhouse about that particular goal, you say no, not at this time, or you write it down for another time. A lot of times we think that, this is an opportunity coming and I want to take advantage of all these opportunities. But what this does is it pulls us away from the goals that we have, from the focus that we have. So go within yourself and ask, does this opportunity, does this experience, does this whatever align with the goals that I'm moving towards? I'll just give you a personal example. When I was launching The Art of Having It All, that was a big goal. And getting it on the New York Times list was a big goal for me. When I had people coming to me to be in different summits and doing different interviews that had nothing to do with the book launch, that had nothing to do with what my goal was. I had to say no. And that has not always been easy for me. Saying no is something that is a learned behavior for me. And the way I know what is a yes or what is a no is I now have my priorities. I have my goals. I know what my focus is. And if something comes available, because as you align with abundance, you get an abundance of opportunities and situations and people and all that stuff coming at you. You need to go within yourself and say, is this a yes or is it a no? And if it's just a tiny little no, it's a no. Feel that, and I really want you to get this, is important. Most of us feel like, oh, that's an opportunity that will never come back around. When you're abundant, when you're aligned, those opportunities can come back around and come back even better and stronger. And when you're coming from that place of abundance, the lack part of us wants to say, oh, we're going to miss out, so I got to do everything all at once, right? Write down that as a goal, again, or an opportunity you'd like to have in the future. But as long as you're staying focused and you're not letting your energy scatter and you're not spreading yourself too thin, you're going to achieve your goals. So one of the other things I want to tell you about goals is write them down. Writing goals down makes them real and gives them more force. It's a physical manifestation in this universe that this goal exists. So writing them down is so powerful. There's actually been studies that when people write them down, their goals literally are a manifestation. There's something you can see. It's kind of like the whole concept of vision boards, right? We take out a vision board so we can constantly see. When you have your goals set around where you can see them, as a reminder, what you're doing every time you see them is you're giving energy to those goals. Now, when you give energy to those goals, make sure you're checking in with yourself. And when you think of that goal, you get excited. It expands you. You feel uplifted. You feel inspired. If you've written down a goal and it feels depressing, it feels like it's a have to, it feels like it's drudgery, that energy is feeding that goal. So the end result, when that goal, if you should meet that goal, won't be as exciting as if you feel good about it. You know, the end result, the end all accomplishment, 99.9% is the journey of getting to that goal. It's not just the end result of the goal. It's who you become. It's who you develop into. It's who you grow into. It's what you experience, the juice and the energy of the journey to that goal. Again, in my situation, becoming a New York Times bestselling author for the second time with The Art of Having It All, that journey was so much fun. And it uplifted me. Every interview I did, every situation step I took brought so much joy that when the goal came, that brought me even more aliveness and joy. The first time I became a New York Times bestselling author, it was stressful. There was a lot of anxiety. And you know what? The whole time it wasn't fun because I was putting so much pressure on myself and I was doing everything, but from a place of like, gotta get it done. And when I got the news I became a New York Times bestselling author, it wasn't as juicy, it wasn't as fun, it wasn't as joyful as the second time. So last part is you want to keep your goals small, keep them operational, keep the low level goals that you're working with toward that are small and achievable. So if a goal is too large, then it can seem that you're not making progress towards it. Keeping goals small and incremental gives more opportunities for reward. You know, it's like if you derive today's goals from larger ones. And what I mean by that is like becoming a New York Times bestselling author as an example. Well, I'd have to write a book in order to do that, right? So writing a book is another goal. And then, okay, so today I'm going to write a book. That's overwhelming. You know, Anthony Robbins talks about chunking down goals. So even if you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to write this book, and now today I'm going to write a chapter. Even if that feels overwhelming for you, I'm going to write 2 pages. I'm going to write a paragraph. I'm going to write for an hour. Chunking down the steps that you take towards the goal, but just checking on the goals that you're making, and that if they're real and realistic, and if they're, too big, maybe it's a vision and not a goal. So also set performance goals, not outcome goals. it's really good to take care to set goals over which you have as much control as possible. If you base your personal goals on personal performance, whether you spend an hour writing a book, then you can keep control over the achievement of your goals and draw satisfaction from them. So if there are goals that have to depend on other people, it's harder to achieve them than if it's a performance goal or a your goal. So I kind of touched on this too. Last part is set realistic goals. It's important to set goals that you can achieve. All sorts of people, employers, parents, media, society can set unrealistic goals for you, and you can even do it for yourself. They'll often do this in ignorance of your own desires and ambitions. So alternatively, you may set goals that are too high because you may not appreciate either the obstacles in the way or understand, how much skill that you need to develop in order to achieve a particular level of performance. So I hope this information has been helpful for you, and that if you had any type of misclarity or you needed more clarity on how to write a goal and how to achieve goals, you have it now. So let me know what you're going to take away. How do you typically set a goal? Do you even set goals? Are you in the habit of putting your goals out there? Because creating goals will actually help you move in the direction of putting your focus, your attention, having the clarity, and then getting the support from our co-creator, from our co-partnership in the universe to allow and align the perfect people, situations, circumstances for you. So thank you so much and have an awesome week.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Please comment below what other topics you'd like us to cover. And if you'd like more episodes, please subscribe to the channel or check out our podcast on ChristyWhitman.com.